God-level duplication system. Chapter 26. Punishment. Everyone from the Lin family was pleasantly surprised by Lin Xuan. Among them, Lin Hai was first shocked, then terrified. When Grand Elder and Lin Qiu saw this, they were both surprised and shocked, but at the same time, they also sighed faintly. Lin Xuan's talent was much stronger than they had imagined. He should have brought Lin Hai along to apologize to Lin Xuan after the competition. He could no longer care about his so-called face. Otherwise, the consequences in the future would be unimaginable. The people of the other three major powers sighed in disbelief. Lin Xuan's talent was even greater. Even though City Lord's mansion had used a special cheating method that allowed Zhang He to temporarily gain the strength of a late enlightenment stage, Zhang He was still no match for Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan was indeed the #1 genius of the Green Jade City. The other disciples of the Green Jade City were far inferior to Lin Xuan. The other so-called genius disciples seemed very ordinary in front of Lin Xuan. A genius like Lin Xuan could also soar into the sky after entering the Drifting Cloud sect. It was better for them not to compete with the Lin family. At least, before the news of Lin Xuan's death spread, it was better for them to lower their heads and tolerate it. That was what the higher-ups of the three major powers thought. On the high platform, Zhao Xuan and Lin Qishuan both smiled and nodded. Lin Xuan's performance was not bad. He did not let them down. With his strength, he could be considered a genius in Drifting Cloud sect. Zhang Wenyang and the old ancestors of the other two major powers were filled with disbelief. Even as Qi transformation stage experts, they had never seen such a scene before. The appearance of such a genius was unbelievable. When they came back to their senses, their hearts were filled with complicated emotions. With such a genius, the rise of Lin family was unstoppable. It seemed like the future, Green Jade City would be ruled by the Lin family. After a few minutes of clamoring, the crowd gradually calmed down. On the arena, only then did Zhang Ping announce, "This match, Lin Xuan wins." After he finished speaking, he looked at Lin Xuan with a complicated expression. The result that he didn't want to see the most had appeared. However, he had no choice but to announce it. From now on, the Lin family would truly rise. This was also the beginning of the end of the City Lord's mansion. However, Lin Xuan didn't pay attention to the thoughts of the others. He looked at the energy points within the attribute panel that was increasing at an even faster rate and nodded his head in satisfaction. As expected, his strategy was correct. He had just defeated a late enlightenment stage Zhang He with a single punch, and this was even more than the number of energy points he had obtained from Zhang He, who had yet to use his secret technique. However, what surprised him was the power of this boiling blood technique. It had actually increased Zhang He's strength by so much. Although he had sent Zhang He flying with a single punch, he had used almost all of his strength. Fortunately, he had achieved his goal. With a smile on his face, Lin Xuan jumped off the arena and walked up to the stands under the gazes of everyone present. Lin Xuan returned to his seat. After receiving Lin Xian's congratulations, they began to chat. Lin Xuan noticed that Lin Xian seemed to have become even happier. He did not know if it was his misconception. At this point, the competition had almost come to an end. All the competitions had also ended. Zhang Ping also jumped off the arena and walked towards the tall platform. What followed was not his work, but the City Lord's final conclusion. But just as Zhang Wenyang stood up and was about to announce it, Zhao Xuan from the Drifting Cloud sect stood up. There was no such custom before this. Zhang Wenyang was very puzzled by his behavior. However, Green Jade City was under the jurisdiction of Drifting Cloud sect, and Zhao Xuan's cultivation base was a level higher than his. Zhao Xuan's status was actually higher than his. He didn't dare to do anything. He could only look at Zhao Xuan. Everyone else on the scene also looked at Zhao Xuan. Zhao Xuan looked around the scene and said in a clear voice, "The competition has ended. The top 10 have been decided. But today, I have something to say. Within the jurisdiction of Drifting Cloud sect, it has always been fair and just. The same goes for my disciple selection. However, in the competition, someone chose to cheat, causing the competition to lose its fairness. Although this person did not succeed. However, regarding this kind of cheating, we must ban it. Thus, we will punish Zhang He." We will kick him out of the top 10 and deprive him of the right to enter the Drifting Cloud sect. In addition, we will also punish the Zhang family for covering up for cheating. We will deprive the Zhang family of the 3 years of management of all their properties in the Green Jade City. We will give these to the Lin family as compensation. After saying that, Zhao Xuan's cold eyes locked onto Zhang Wenyang, who was standing beside him. Zhang Wenyang felt his soul trembling, and his eyes were filled with fear. He knew that if he refused, Zhao Xuan would very likely kill him on the spot. In the eyes of the Drifting Cloud Sect's envoy, he was nothing. He hurriedly stood up and respectfully replied, "Zhang family is willing to receive punishment." He also did not expect that he would end up like this when he used the boiling blood technique to cheat. The Green Jade City was still too small. He didn't know about the rules and regulations of the Drifting Cloud sect. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done this. He had never thought of resisting. In Zhao Xuan's eyes, he was like an ant. He had no strength to resist. As soon as he finished his words, the crowd went into an uproar. Everyone did not expect the situation to develop like this. However, they had also witnessed the true might of the Drifting Cloud sect. The city lord's mansion didn't dare to resist at all. At the same time, everyone was even more envious and respectful of the 10 people who were qualified to go to the Drifting Cloud sect. On the square, Zhang He, who was already severely injured, immediately spat out blood and fainted on the spot. He was carried away by the people of City Lord's mansion to treat his injuries. The people of City Lord's mansion all had gloomy expressions on their faces. Not only did they fail to succeed in this adventure, but it had also increased the prestige of Lin family. They had also suffered such a severe punishment. The City Lord's mansion might really be unable to recover from this setback. Everyone from the Chen family and Wu family had serious expressions on their faces. Although the strongest force in Green Jade City, the City Lord's mansion, had declined, they didn't feel happy about it at all. This was because they had secretly formed an alliance with the City Lord's mansion. They were working together to fight the Lin family. Now, the City Lord's mansion had been defeated, but the Lin family had obtained such a great benefit. It was imaginable that the Lin family would become even stronger. It was very likely that the Lin family would become the sole ruler of the entire Green Rock City in the near future. And all of this was brought by Lin Xuan. If it wasn't for Lin Xuan's rise, Lin Yun wouldn't have been Zhang He's match.